Hey guys, before we get into things, please subscribe to our channel and make sure you turn on notifications so you know every time we post. And also, head over to our social pages, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram so you can see clips and chat wrestling with us. But now, let's get into the video. Yo, what's going on, guys? C2 Wrestling. One is dapper and one is not. We have on location with breaking news. Our
Breaking
reporters
news coming at you live from a hotel.
noted.
We've been talking a lot lately on this channel about how dedicated we are to C2 Wrestling. And listen, you've been around the block once, you've already done this yourself. I just got out of a wedding, still in my attire, but wrestling, baby. There's some breaking news in the middle of the ceremony I'm watching. Motor City Machine Guns, according to Fightful, officially signed to WWE.
Oh yeah, so the news came out. It first came from hashtag PWN.
Mhm.
Fightful confirmed it after talking to numerous sources in WWE. Motor City Machine Guns officially signed. This has been the word for the last month or two. There was always still that little slim chance that maybe they were going to AEW because nothing was confirmed. But now that it's confirmed, before we even talk about where they start, who they face, any of that, if you are not familiar with the Motor City Machine Guns or you know their name and maybe have seen some of their stuff recently, I beg of you, go on YouTube. TNA's YouTube channel has so much stuff on there.
Mhm.
Go on YouTube. I believe the entire Best of Five series with Beer Money, which is one of the best sets of tag team feuds. I believe that entire series is on YouTube. Watch that. Watch other matches. Yes, they're not the same exact wrestlers right now as they were 10 years ago, but the TNA fan in me, like it is as soon as the first second they drop that t-shirt, as I slap my laptop, as I slap my laptop, going to do this. That's how pumped I am. I slapped the damn laptop. Oh my, almost had a heart attack. But that t-shirt's getting bought, and I'm throwing this up right at the mailman's face.
Yes, the Motor City Machine Guns coming to WWE. I'm buying the merch immediately. Listen, we've been Motor City Machine Gun fans like so many people for decades now. At this point, it feels like, they're one of those teams that forever, even though their TNA run is fantastic and even stuff outside of TNA has been great, they're that one team that forever just escaped WWE, you know? Well, to an extent, they could go to NXT. That would be a slight return to NXT for Alex Shelley, paired up with Kushida in the past down there. It was right towards the end of that black and gold stint where things started changing. And now I understand a lot of people are against them going to NXT. I think it's great for NXT. I think the only feud they really have down there right now, though, is Axiom and Frazier. And it's maybe a face versus face thing. It's going to be hard to put the Motor City Machine Guns down to anywhere and then be heels. So NXT could use them, but it's tough. NXT doesn't really have like this massive crop of tag team talent right now to where you're going to be putting on DIY revival type matches, American Alpha alongside one of the greatest tag teams ever. Putting them on the main roster might be a little bit more beneficial for them, in my opinion. There's little side note. There's also been rumors of Lucha Bros going straight to the main roster. I would rather flip it. Lucha Bros to NXT, Motor City Machine Guns to the main roster.
See, I completely disagree. I think it's perfect. Machine Guns to NXT, Lucha Bros to the main roster. Machine Guns to NXT is it's more than just the names of them going to NXT. They're not going there because they need to learn how to wrestle WWE style or be on WWE television. They're going there to be a mainstay on that show, be a credible name. It replaces having to take a main roster tag team like the Good Brothers and have them in feuds. But they're also going down there to help all these people. They are
Mm-hmm.
going to give endless amounts of knowledge to all of these people. Not saying that the Lucha Bros wouldn't, but it makes more sense for the Machine Guns if they're starting in NXT. You're not just wrestlers. You're some of them we know they come back, they're wrestlers and also trainers. They sign different deals. This sets them up for when they do retire. They can have jobs in the performance center potentially. Like this is a whole different avenue. For me, I love it. I'm throwing the titles on them instantly. The
Immediately.
the
Yeah.
rumor is they debut at the October debut on the CW in Chicago.
Hmm.
The crowd will go insane for them in
Yes.
Chicago. That's going to be a great crowd. That's a great moment. And then after that, I start thinking of when they start facing these NXT teams that just don't feel like they have that credibility yet, they can help give them the boost. Like, I don't want to necessarily say like the family, because the family is a little bit more of an established team, but like a Hank and Tank,
Hmm.
they feud with the Good Brothers and it just still doesn't get there. You know what I mean? Not saying if they feuded with the Lucha Bros, it wouldn't help the same amount. It just feels like a feud with the Machine Guns would help bump them up. Them feuding with no quarter catch crew. I love everything about that.
I
That
agree.
like that sounds money to me. But obviously the first feud that makes the most amount of sense is them versus Axiom and Frazier. And look, I mentioned to go watch old Motor City Machine Gun matches. That will be like textbook what we loved about the X division back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. To counteract my own point of wanting Lucha Bros more so to NXT and Motor City Machine Guns to the main roster, putting them in NXT, like I said, there's maybe not a whole lot of tag team talent down there right now for the Motor City Machine Guns, but it's putting a team like them down there that helps make tag team talent. They can very much help establish newer guys. No quarter catch crew is immediately what came to mind for me. Davon Heights, that New Japan run's been fantastic. I would love to see him and maybe Miles Bourne in there against the Motor City Machine Guns. I think that would be great for the two of them while you have Charlie Dempsey kind of lead that stable. Putting them on the main roster, I don't think they really fit. I think they more so fit SmackDown, but I think it's tough to put them on SmackDown right now. They would have to go Raw, and it's the same thought as if they went NXT. I'm putting those titles on them immediately. I'm immediately having them feud with Judgment Day and go right for those belts. And that is maybe the match for them on Raw, but it's easier to maybe just put the NXT titles right on them. That almost makes more sense. There's a lot of teams I'd like to see them face. I already briefly mentioned DIY. That would be fantastic. Fatu, Bloodline, Solo, any combination of them would be great. Fraxium, as we call them, Fraser and Axiom, Motor City Machine Guns. That's a banger. Just waiting to happen. You have
Yeah,
to run that match.
that's something where they have to debut on the Chicago show, and then in 2 to 3 weeks, they main event
Hmm.
whatever show it is for the titles. That's
Halloween Havoc.
yeah, exactly. Like that's a main event worthy matchup, and they're already built, they're already established. And I know
Hmm.
people they get into the tribalism on, oh, why wouldn't you do a video package? But like, look, if you're watching NXT, you know who the damn Motor City Machine Guns are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not like you need to put them down there to for people to learn who they are. Like the OG TNA wrestlers, a good portion of the WWE crowd know who they are. Now, the younger crowd probably don't because they didn't grow up on them. They have no idea. There's going
Hmm.
to be a small crop that don't know who they are. That's fine. But the people who will be watching NXT will know and already do know who the Motor City Machine Guns are. Now, I should also add, yes, they immediately help the tag team division. Yes, they immediately elevate things in NXT, help deepen the brand, which is what it needs. It's got some names, but for it to be on its standalone in the CW, it needs more names. They also are fantastic single stars as well. So it's not just limited to them being tag team.
Absolutely. I was going to say that whether it's in a tag team setting or not, there's other singles wrestlers I'd like to see get in the ring with the Motor City Machine Guns, like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker. Kevin Owens, I think would be great. I got to bring him up because I'm feeling a little
Because
bit
because you're dressed
like
like
the
them.
like the face of America today. you know. But there is a lot. There's again the crop of talent in WWE, top to bottom right now is bar none. It's the best it's ever been. Motor City Machine Guns have only been in the ring with maybe a handful of guys that are in WWE right now actively. Of course, they've been in the ring with the guys that are formerly in TNA, maybe New Japan, things like that. But there's so much talent for the Motor City Machine Guns. They might be a little bit on that older side, but they got years left, in my opinion, if they're really signing over to WWE. So I think we're going to get a hell of a run right here. This is history, in all honesty. Am I a little disappointed that it's been announced? A little bit. I would have liked the surprise, but you got to mix it up sometimes. WWE has been pretty good on the surprises lately. Having an announcement going into a new brand, CW, you want to get the eyes tuned into that episode. So you're going to announce it. It lines up that they do debut at that NXT episode.
And to be fair, they didn't necessarily announce it. They just confirmed
True,
the
true.
reports. By the time this gets uploaded, we're recording right after basically news broke. So they might officially announce it beforehand. We've seen them do
Mm-hmm.
that. We saw them do it with the Good Brothers, like that happens sometimes. And to be honest, this might be where it makes the most sense with you trying to get these eyes on NXT. I know you're going to have CM Punk on this week. You're going to have him on for the debut episode in Chicago. I did see the show week 2 in St. Louis. They just moved to a smaller venue because tickets weren't doing as well, which again, love that. I wish
Good.
AEW would do that more as well. Like if tickets aren't moving well, put it into a better arena where it looks better. That
Mm-hmm.
might have been another reason. Hey, we need to make sure we're getting eyes on this. Now, would it be nice to have them as a surprise? Absolutely. But I remember you mentioning this not too long ago. It's very on brand to how Vince used to kind of do things. This person's going to be there making their debut. Make sure you tune in. And that's another way to do things, and that's just fine. Now, they might not do that exactly, but now we're watching because we're tuning in to see the potential of it.
Yes. Even just under this shorter Triple H regime, I can call back three off the top of my head, and Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, three names that immediately were, maybe not to the level of the Motor City Machine Guns, but heavily kept surprises. So that does fall under that Triple H era. I think he's a little bit more keen to what we want and we don't want it to be announced. But I can't argue them announcing it perhaps for the CW show. But I don't think it's outlandish for Axiom and Frazier to even do an open challenge and winning the belts right then and there. I don't think that's that crazy.
Yeah, and I do think we're going to see similar to what has happened with Ethan Page in the NXT
Mm-hmm.
Championship. It is an established, credible guy that as soon as he gets established into the WWE universe, you see why. You see he's a veteran. He
Mm-hmm.
he makes the title valuable, everything. We're going to see that same exact thing with the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, at the same time, there's no disrespect to Axiom and Frazier. Who's to say Motor City Machine Guns don't show up and Axiom and Frazier don't beat them? Because then
Yeah.
that elevates Axiom and Frazier right there. That these legends just walked in the door and Axiom and Frazier found a way to beat them, and that goes into a longer story. So it feels like while there might not be a crazy amount of options, they're going to create all of these options and have great stuff as my cat hops into the background telling me to wrap it up because he wants me to play with toys with him.
Yeah, well, it does feel like there's maybe not a whole lot of options down there in NXT, but there is a whole lot of options with C2 Wrestling. We got a whole lot
Yep.
of videos coming at you, different types of content, reviews, breaking news like tonight, in a suit, street clothes, doesn't matter. We love to make it happen. We're killing it right now, we feel like, and we want to keep going. So, you know the deal. Like and subscribe. Go on those socials, Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok. Shout out to Tommy Boy.
Yep. He's going crazy playing with a toy right now, flinging it around. You don't get this kind of coverage on any other
No,
channel.
no, you
Yeah.
don't.
This is
C2
and
Wrestling.
not to brag, but rescue. Not to brag, not to brag,
I mean,
but adopt,
listen,
don't shop. Not to brag.
not to brag, not to brag. But you heard it here first, guys. C2 Wrestling. Hit those like buttons, hit that subscribe button, comment below. What do you guys think about the Motor City Machine Guns coming to WWE? Where do you want to see them go? Who do you want to see them face? Would you have rather seen them elsewhere? Who knows? C2 Wrestling, baby.